Parker Schnabel's mining season was off to a challenging start, and from the very first day, it became clear that this year would test every ounce of patience, skill, and determination he had developed over the years. The Dominion Creek claim, one of Parker's most promising sites, held immense potential, yet right from the start, logistical hurdles created serious setbacks. The placement of wash plants across the site meant that dirt had to be hauled long distances, slowing down operations and exhausting both crew and machinery. Each day seemed to bring new challenges, and the gold yield, while steady, was far below what was needed to meet the ambitious weekly target of 1,000 ounces. Parker knew that if he wanted to stay on track, drastic measures would be required. Measures that would push both the team and the machines to their absolute limits. Faced with these operational hurdles, Parker made the decision to bring in two colossal A60 rock trucks. These massive machines represented a game-changer for the operation. With the ability to move up to 600 yards of pay dirt per hour, these trucks nearly doubled the capacity of the standard mining fleet. The addition of the A60s was a bold move, and it was immediately clear that Parker was taking calculated risks to keep production moving. Every hour mattered, and the efficiency these trucks offered could mean the difference between hitting the season goal or falling short. Yet with such power came enormous responsibility, and Parker was aware that even a single mechanical failure could stop operations entirely. At the start of the season, Parker had set an ambitious target of 10,000 ounces of gold, a goal that reflected both his confidence and experience. However, after facing multiple early setbacks, including equipment issues and unpredictable gold yields, he adjusted expectations, aiming instead for at least 8,000 ounces. The pressure on the team was immense. Only 2 out of the 3 wash plants were operational, as the Sulphur Creek plant had run out of pay dirt. This meant that the Dominion Creek claim, especially the notoriously difficult long cut, became the primary focus. The team had to pull material from the downstream end, moving it over long distances to keep production flowing. Every day, every load, and every decision carried consequences, and Parker's leadership was being tested like never before. Among the crew, 22-year-old James CTS was learning to operate one of the massive A60 trucks for the first time. Eager to prove himself, James approached the challenge with determination. Yet the day quickly turned intense as the truck began signaling errors from the control panel. Uncertain of the cause, James contacted Mitch, who was overseeing the site, and the tension increased. With the truck carrying 60 tons of pay dirt, a mechanical failure could be disastrous. The inspection revealed that a companion flange connecting the drive shaft to the rear wheels had snapped. This failure impacted the brake lines and hydraulic hoses, rendering it completely immobile. The team immediately recognized the seriousness of the situation. Taylor, the lead mechanic, quickly took control of the repair operation. Before moving the truck, the pay dirt had to be unloaded carefully. With extreme precision, the team replaced the damaged hydraulic hoses and managed the load, understanding that any mistake could trigger further damage or even a collapse of material. After extensive work, the truck was ready to move to the yard for a full repair. Parker and Mitch understood that every minute lost meant precious ounces of gold slipping away, and the pressure to restore production was palpable. While the repair team worked tirelessly, Parker had to make critical operational decisions. With only one truck functioning, production slowed drastically. He made the difficult choice to temporarily shut down one of the wash plants, a decision that had immediate consequences. Without the plant running, 300 tons of pay dirt per hour went unprocessed, putting the season goal further at risk. The team understood the urgency of their work, and tensions ran high. Mechanics and miners worked around the clock, balancing speed with caution to ensure that no further damage occurred. Every adjustment, every repair, and every load became a high-stakes operation. Despite the challenges, Parker remained focused on the bigger picture. He knew that efficiency would determine whether the season succeeded. Overloading the A60 trucks was part of his strategy, pushing them beyond recommended limits to maximize output.
This approach carried inherent risks, as the catastrophic failure of one truck had already proven. Every component, every system, and every piece of machinery on site was essential. One breakdown could trigger delays, shutdowns, and mounting costs, threatening not only the season goal, but also the overall operation. After 6 grueling hours, Taylor and the team successfully repaired the A60 truck, restoring it to operational status. Production resumed, and the wash plant came back online. Yet Parker and his team knew that their work was far from over. The season was only halfway through, and gold recovery numbers had shown a concerning decline. The total recovered ounces stood at just over 4,175, leaving a significant gap toward the 8,000-ounce target. Parker recognized the challenge but remained determined. Each decision now carried even greater weight, as every ounce of gold would be critical to salvaging the season. Parker's relentless pursuit of efficiency highlighted the delicate balance between risk and reward. Pushing the trucks beyond safe limits had increased hauling capacity, but it had also placed extraordinary stress on the machines. His father's advice about adhering to manufacturer load limits was based on decades of experience, and the recent truck failure underscored the importance of caution. Every piece of equipment was vital, and even a single misstep could cascade into operational disaster. Production, repair costs, labor hours, and fuel consumption were all impacted by mechanical failures, emphasizing the high stakes involved in Parker's decision-making. With the operational crisis behind them, Parker continued to push the team toward higher efficiency. Each shift required careful coordination, precise execution, and constant vigilance. Any breakdown could derail weeks of work, and the pressure to recover lost time intensified. Parker's leadership, experience, and willingness to take calculated risks became critical to navigating these challenges. He monitored the gold room closely, seeking improvements in yield and efficiency, and worked alongside his team to ensure that the massive A60 trucks and other equipment were operating at peak performance. Even after the crisis, the tension on-site remained palpable. With future breakdowns potentially threatening the entire season, Parker and his team maintained a high level of alert. Continuous monitoring, maintenance, and careful handling of the machinery became the norm. Parker knew that sustaining production required a balance of speed, caution, and strategic decision-making. Every load, every repair, and every operational choice was part of a complex system where one mistake could set back weeks of work and jeopardize the overall season goal.
Massive amounts of material that had to be hauled uphill to the processing plants. Every truckload required coordination, precise timing, and careful monitoring to ensure the haul was completed safely. Even small delays could ripple across the entire operation, slowing gold processing and threatening the weekly target. Parker was constantly evaluating workflows, adjusting priorities, and making decisions on the fly to prevent further disruptions. For young miners like James CTS, the challenges provided both lessons and pressure. Operating an A60 truck was no easy task, especially under the weight of over 60 tons of pay dirt. Any mistake could result in lost gold, equipment damage, or injury. Yet Parker viewed this as an opportunity to train the next generation of miners, emphasizing skill, precision, and responsibility. Every haul, every load, and every maneuver became part of a learning process, teaching young crew members the high-stakes realities of large-scale mining operations. While the human side of the operation was critical, the mechanical side demanded equal attention. Overloading trucks pushed the machines to their limits, and Parker understood that the risk of breakdowns was ever present. Even minor malfunctions could escalate into catastrophic failures. The team had learned this firsthand with the snapped driveshaft incident, which had temporarily halted operations and forced a labor-intensive repair. These experiences reinforced Parker's belief that preparation, vigilance, and teamwork were essential for keeping production on track. With 2 A60 trucks now fully operational, Parker's team worked tirelessly to regain lost ground. The enormous hauling capacity of these machines allowed them to move hundreds of yards of pay dirt per hour, making it possible to process more material and increase gold recovery. Yet even with this advantage, Parker knew that success was not guaranteed. The long cut's unpredictable gold yield continued to fluctuate, meaning that efficiency alone could not guarantee meeting the weekly targets. Each cleanup, each load, and each truck movement required careful planning and monitoring to prevent further setbacks. The operational strain extended beyond just the machinery. Crew members were under constant pressure to keep production moving. Long hours, high expectations, and the stress of working with oversized equipment tested the limits of their endurance. Parker recognized this and maintained an active presence on the site, offering guidance, support, and oversight. His hands-on leadership helped keep morale high and ensured that safety protocols were followed while pushing for maximum output. Every member of the team, from the experienced operators to the newer greenhorns, understood that their collective efforts determined whether the season would succeed or fail. As the weeks progressed, Parker's team faced yet another challenge. Only 2 wash plants were operational. The third plant at Sulphur Creek had run out of pay dirt, forcing the focus back onto Dominion Creek. This bottleneck meant that every load transported by the trucks had to be carefully allocated to maximize the gold recovery potential. The coordination required was immense, and Parker spent hours evaluating material placement, adjusting routes, and determining which areas could provide the most consistent returns. Despite these limitations, the A60 trucks allowed them to maintain a higher level of productivity than would have been possible with smaller equipment. Even with the operational improvements, setbacks continued to test the team. Unexpected mechanical issues, fluctuating gold yields, and the physical limits of the machines kept everyone on high alert. Each breakdown reminded Parker and the crew of the delicate balance between risk and reward. Overloading the trucks pushed efficiency but also increased the likelihood of damage. Parker had to weigh the benefits of moving more dirt quickly against the potential consequences of mechanical failure. The recent driveshaft incident had already demonstrated the significant costs, both in downtime and repairs, of pushing equipment beyond its intended limits. Despite the challenges, Parker remained committed to his strategy. He knew that taking calculated risks was necessary to stay on track. Overloading the trucks allowed for faster movement of pay dirt, but it required precise operation and constant monitoring to prevent catastrophic failures. The mechanics worked tirelessly, anticipating issues before they became serious problems. Every repair, every maintenance check, and every adjustment played a crucial role in keeping the operation running smoothly. Parker's leadership and foresight ensured that the team remained focused and prepared for whatever challenges the season would throw at them.
Throughout the season, Parker and his crew remained focused on their goal, maximizing gold recovery while keeping operations running at full capacity. The combination of oversized trucks, strategic material placement, and careful oversight allowed them to navigate the unpredictable conditions of the Dominion Creek claim. Even with the setbacks, the team continued to push forward, driven by Parker's determination to achieve the season's target. Each day, each load of pay dirt, and each ounce of gold recovered brought them closer to their goal, reinforcing the importance of teamwork, preparation, and resilience in the high-stakes world of gold mining. As the season pressed on, the pressure on Parker and his team only intensified. Each day brought new challenges, and there was little room for error. The Dominion Creek claim continued to deliver inconsistent gold yields, leaving Parker to constantly adjust strategies to stay on track. With production targets looming, every load of pay dirt became a critical part of the operation. The A60 trucks were performing well, but their massive size and heavy loads left no margin for mistakes. A single misstep could result in delays, equipment damage, or even accidents, making precision and focus essential for every crew member. Midway through the season, Parker faced another significant hurdle. One of the operational wash plants began experiencing mechanical issues, slowing the processing of pay dirt. With only 2 plants running, the entire operation risked bottlenecks. Parker knew that any reduction in throughput could jeopardize the weekly gold target. He quickly coordinated with his crew to reroute trucks and prioritize areas with higher gold potential. Every decision had to be made with efficiency and speed in mind, and Parker's leadership was crucial in keeping the operation moving despite the setback. The team was working under extreme conditions, often for long hours without breaks. The pressure to meet ambitious goals took its toll on both crew morale and equipment. The young miners, including James CTS, were still learning the ropes, and Parker had to balance pushing for efficiency with ensuring that everyone stayed safe. Operating the massive A60 trucks required skill and focus, especially under heavy loads and challenging terrain. Parker emphasized teamwork and clear communication, knowing that even small
mistakes could result in lost productivity or damaged machinery. During this period, mechanical failures became a recurring theme. The trucks, pushed beyond their rated capacity, began showing signs of strain. Hydraulic hoses, brake systems, and drivelines were all under constant stress, and the crew had to remain vigilant to prevent minor issues from escalating into catastrophic failures. Parker's approach of overloading the trucks was risky, but it was also the key to maintaining high production levels. The balance between risk and reward was delicate, and every repair or maintenance task became a race against time to keep the operation on schedule. At the long cut, Parker and his crew faced one of their most demanding challenges yet. Massive amounts of pay dirt had to be moved to the processing plants to maintain the flow of operations. The gold yield was inconsistent, fluctuating from week to week, which added uncertainty to every decision. Mitch, who oversaw the site, was constantly under pressure to coordinate truckloads, ensure equipment was functioning properly, and keep the team focused. Every minor delay or mechanical hiccup had the potential to derail the entire operation. Tensions rose as the workload increased. The crew was exhausted, and the physical and mental demands of operating the massive trucks took a toll. One mechanical failure, even a minor one, could cause delays that rippled across the entire claim. Despite this, Parker remained calm and focused, providing guidance and leadership to keep the team on track. He knew that maintaining morale and confidence was as important as ensuring equipment reliability. Each crew member played a critical role in the success of the operation, and Parker worked tirelessly to keep everyone motivated and efficient. The stakes were highest when James CTS experienced his first major truck issue. Operating the A60 under a full load, James noticed alarms flashing on the dashboard. Panic set in for the young miner, but Mitch quickly intervened, guiding him to safety while assessing the mechanical problem. The drive shaft had snapped, causing brake and hydraulic failures, leaving the truck immobilized with over 60 tons of pay dirt in the back. The situation was critical. Parker immediately organized the crew to unload the dirt, repair the truck, and return it to service as quickly as possible. Every minute lost meant reduced gold output and increased pressure on the team. Taylor, the lead mechanic, took charge of the repair. He and his team carefully replaced damaged hydraulic hoses, reinstalled electrical wiring, and positioned a new drive shaft. Every adjustment had to be precise. Misalignment could result in further failures, adding more setbacks to an already critical situation. After hours of labor, the truck was finally operational again, allowing the team to resume hauling and processing pay dirt. This incident highlighted the risks Parker had taken by pushing the trucks beyond their limits, but it also demonstrated the team's resilience and ability to respond under pressure. Even with the crisis averted, the setbacks had real consequences. One of the wash plants had to be temporarily shut down, reducing processing capacity by 300 tons of pay dirt per hour. This directly impacted gold output, making it more difficult to reach weekly targets. Parker and the crew had to work harder than ever to compensate for lost production, coordinating truckloads, optimizing workflows, and maintaining equipment, Bottlenecks and mechanical setbacks reinforce the importance of preparation, vigilance, and teamwork in the high-stakes world of gold mining. As the season entered its second half, Parker and his team were more determined than ever. The setbacks of the earlier weeks had taught them valuable lessons, but the pressure remained immense. Every ounce of gold counted, and there was no room for wasted time or mistakes. Parker had to constantly adjust operations, ensuring that trucks were properly loaded, wash plants stayed operational, and the crew maintained their focus. Efficiency and speed were critical, but safety could not be compromised. The sheer size of the A60 trucks and the massive loads they carried made every movement risky. Parker reminded his team that while speed was important, precision was just as vital to avoid accidents and equipment damage. One of the key challenges was the unpredictable gold yield from Dominion Creek. Some days produced more than expected, while others fell short of even modest estimates. This inconsistency forced Parker to constantly adapt his strategy, redirecting resources and adjusting schedules to keep production on track. He also had to balance the workload between trucks and wash plants, making sure that no part of the operation became a bottleneck. Every crew member had a role to play, from driving the massive trucks to monitoring equipment and assisting in maintenance. Coordination and communication were crucial, as even a small misstep could result in lost production. The risk of mechanical failure remained a constant concern. Despite repairs and careful operation, the overloading of trucks and the demanding pace of work put tremendous strain on equipment. Hydraulic systems, drive shafts, and braking mechanisms were all vulnerable under these conditions. Parker knew that any additional breakdowns could bring the operation to a halt, so he emphasized careful operation and attention to detail. The crew worked tirelessly to maintain equipment, performing inspections and repairs to prevent unexpected failures. Every truck and machine had to operate at peak efficiency to maximize gold output and minimize downtime. Midway through this period, Parker faced another challenge. One of the A60 trucks began showing signs of stress during a heavy haul. Pressure gauges indicated potential hydraulic issues, and small cracks were detected in the chassis. Parker immediately took action, instructing the crew to offload the pay dirt and conduct a thorough inspection. The risk was high, but delaying the check could have resulted in catastrophic failure. The team worked methodically, removing the load and carefully examining every component. Taylor, the lead mechanic, guided the repairs, ensuring that all systems were reinforced and functioning correctly. After several hours, the truck was back in service, allowing production to resume with minimal disruption. During this period, Parker's leadership and decision-making were put to the test. He had to balance the pressure to maintain high gold output with the necessity of protecting equipment and ensuring crew safety. Decisions had to be made quickly and accurately, often under stressful conditions. Parker's experience and knowledge allowed him to anticipate potential problems and implement solutions before they escalated. His hands-on approach and willingness to lead by example motivated the crew and helped maintain morale during a grueling season. Despite the challenges, the team continued to make progress. The A60 trucks hauled massive amounts of pay dirt from the long cut and other high-yield areas, keeping the wash plants busy and ensuring a steady flow of material for processing. The efficiency gains from the massive trucks were
significant, but the margin for error was small. Parker carefully monitored every load, ensuring the trucks were not overloaded and that safety protocols were followed. Each successful haul reinforced the importance of teamwork, planning, and precise execution in high-stakes mining operations. As the season progressed, Parker also faced challenges related to staffing and experience. Young miners like James Cetius were still learning, and mistakes could have serious consequences. Parker emphasized training and supervision, making sure that every crew member understood their responsibilities and operated safely. Mistakes could cost production time, damage equipment, or even cause injuries, so vigilance was essential. Parker's leadership ensured that the team remained focused and prepared to handle any situation, even under extreme pressure. The financial stakes of the season were high. Every ounce of gold translated to thousands of dollars, and setbacks in production had direct monetary consequences. Parker had to manage resources carefully, balancing the cost of repairs, fuel, and labor with the need to maximize gold output. Every decision, from truck loading to maintenance scheduling, had a direct impact on the operation's profitability. Parker's strategic planning and ability to adapt to changing conditions were critical in navigating these challenges and keeping the operation on track. By this stage of the season, the cumulative stress of mechanical failures, inconsistent gold yields, and demanding work conditions had taken a toll on the crew. Parker worked hard to maintain morale, providing guidance and support while encouraging his team to stay focused. He recognized the importance of teamwork and communication in overcoming challenges, and his leadership helped the crew